My sister secretly recorded a family barbecue and posted it online. In the video, Mom mocked my pathetic career, while everyone laughed. I've been paying their bills for years, but then I found out they left everything to my sister in their will. So I cut them off, and I always knew I was the black sheep of the family, but I never realized just how deep their contempt ran until that video surfaced. It was a warm summer evening, and I had just finished my second shift when my phone buzzed with a notification. My best friend, Mark, had sent me a link with a single message. What the heck? Watch this. I clicked on it, and the moment the video started playing, my stomach twisted into knots. It was a recording of our latest family barbecue, secretly filmed by my sister, Rachel. The camera was shaky, probably set up somewhere discreet, but the audio was crystal clear. My mom was holding a glass of wine, sitting comfortably on the patio, and my dad was beside her, chuckling. My uncle made a joke about kids these days, and then my mother's voice rang out, loud and clear. "Oh, please. The only reason we're even having this barbecue is because of him. He pays for everything. But have you seen his pathetic career? It's embarrassing. I mean, he thinks he's so important, yet he's barely making anything. If he had any sense, he'd have gone into something useful like Rachel." Laughter erupted around the table. My sister's voice cut through the noise. "I know, right? And he thinks we actually appreciate it. He's so desperate for our approval, it's honestly sad." More laughter. I felt my whole body go rigid as I listened. These were the same people I had been supporting for years. The same people who called me at all hours, asking for help with bills. Because I was the one paying them. My pathetic career. I worked 2 jobs, one during the day, one at night. In the mornings, I'm a janitor at a downtown office building. I scrub floors, take out trash, and clean up after people who don't even notice I exist. Then, in the evenings, I deliver food for an app, driving until my back aches and my fingers cramp around the wheel. It's exhausting. It's not glamorous. But it pays the bills. Or at least, it should. The problem is, a huge chunk of my income goes to my parents. Electricity bill? Paid by me. Water? Gas? Internet? Me. Property taxes that my parents forgot to save for? That too. Car insurance for my dad's truck that he barely drives? Somehow, also me. And it wasn't always like this. The beginning of the payments. I still remember the first time my mom asked me for help. I was 22, just starting out, working full-time as a janitor. She called me in the middle of my shift, her voice sweet, almost embarrassed. "Honey, I hate to ask, but things are really tight this month. Could you cover the electric bill? Just this once." I said yes. Of course, I did. It was just one bill. But then came another. "The water bill is higher than usual, sweetheart. Could you help?" Then another. "Your father's truck insurance is due, and you know how he needs his truck. Could you handle it?" Soon, it wasn't requests, it was expectations. And my parents? They stopped paying anything themselves. They had money. My dad had a pension, my mom had savings. But they didn't want to waste their money on bills when they could use mine. Why should we struggle when you're young and working? My mom had once said, waving a hand dismissively, "You don't have kids, you don't have a mortgage. It's just easier this way." So I let them. For years I let them. And now, here they were, laughing about it behind my back. I scrolled through the comments under the video. It had been up for hours, shared by dozens of Rachel's friends. Some people were laughing along with them. Others seemed horrified. One comment stood out. "If this were my family, I'd cut them off immediately." I swallowed hard. Maybe it was time I finally did. My phone slipped from my hand onto the cheap, peeling kitchen counter. My whole body felt hot. My jaw clenched so tight I thought my teeth might crack. They were mocking me. I worked 18-hour shifts scrubbing other people's filth, running deliveries until my legs burned just so those leeches could sit on their asses and sip wine. And they laughed? Like I was some pathetic joke? A buzzing rage filled my chest, crawling up my throat. My stomach twisted as I imagined them, sitting on my parents' patio, bellies full from the barbecue I paid for, drinking beer I bought, using the electricity I kept running. And yet, to them, I was just a desperate loser, good enough to foot the bills but worthless otherwise. I grabbed my phone again, my hand shaking as I scrolled to Rachel's number. That manipulative opportunist. I hit call. She picked up on the second ring, her voice dripping with fake concern. "Hey, big bro. What's up?" I couldn't even speak at first. I was afraid if I opened my mouth, I'd explode. "You posted a ridiculous video of our family barbecue," I said, my voice tight. Rachel giggled. Giggled? Oh my God. You saw it? People love it. The comments are hilarious. I gripped the counter, my knuckles white. I swallowed hard, trying to stop myself from putting my fist through the wall. You think it's funny? You think it's funny that Mom calls my job pathetic? That you all laugh while I kill myself paying for everything? Rachel sighed, as if I was being dramatic. Relax, dude. It's just jokes. You know how Mom is after a few glasses of wine. And honestly, you need to lighten up. People make fun of you because you're so uptight about money all the time. I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. Uptight about money? You mean the money that keeps your internet running? The money that keeps Mom and Dad's house from falling into foreclosure? That money. She groaned. Ugh, here we go. Look, it's not my fault you decided to be a charity case. No one made you pay for anything. You just kept saying yes. That's on you. My fingers curled into a fist so tight my nails dug into my palm. I see, I said coldly. So I was wrong for helping? Is that it? I'm a fool for keeping this family afloat while you sit around pretending to be some wannabe influencer. Oh my God, you're so bitter, she whined. This is why nobody likes hanging out with you. You just sulk and complain. Something inside me snapped. All right, Rachel, I said, my voice eerily calm. You want me to stop sulking? Fine. I'm done. Done with what? She scoffed. With all of it, I said. No more payments. No more covering for Mom and Dad's emergencies. No more handing you cash when you max out your credit cards on useless stuff. She was silent for a moment. Then she laughed. Oh, please, she said. You say that now, but we all know you're too much of a pushover to actually cut us off. Something about the sheer arrogance in her voice sent me over the edge. You'll see, I said simply, then hung up. And just like that, the ATM was closed. I didn't just stop sending money. I made it official. First, I cut off the auto payments. No more easy withdrawals for utilities, property taxes, phone bills, none of it. Then, I blocked every single one of them. Mom, Dad, Rachel. All of them. I didn't pick up when Mom's number flashed on my screen 20 times in a row. I didn't check the voicemail she left, though I could imagine them perfectly. Fake concern first, then guilt-tripping, and finally full-blown rage. I didn't answer Rachel's texts, which probably started with her usual smugness before shifting to panic. And when my dad, who never ever called unless he needed money, texted call me. Now, I simply deleted the message. Then, the real chaos began. 3 days later, I came home from my shift to pounding on my door. I swung it open to find my mother standing there, red-faced, eyes blazing with fury. Are you out of your mind? She screeched. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Something wrong, Mom? Heck right, something's wrong, she spat. The electricity got shut off today because someone decided to be an ungrateful little brat. I smirked. Oh, I thought I was just a pathetic loser throwing money away. Didn't seem to bother you when the lights were still on. Her face twisted in fury. You're being petty. This is your family. You think this is funny? You're letting us suffer just because you're mad over a joke. I shook my head, almost impressed by her audacity. I'm letting you suffer? I repeated. Mom, I have been keeping this family's head above water for years. The only reason you even have a house to sit in the dark in is because of me. And yet, you laughed at me. Called me pathetic. Let Rachel post that video for everyone to see. She waved a hand dismissively. Oh, for God's sake, stop being so sensitive. It was just... No, I cut her off. It was just you all showing me who you really are. And I finally listened. She glared at me, breathing heavily, furious that I wasn't bending like I always did. Then, her eyes narrowed. You think you're punishing us? You're only hurting yourself. One day, when we're gone, you're going to regret this. And don't come crawling back when you realize you made a mistake. I laughed. You're right, Mom. One day, you'll be gone. And you know what? That thought doesn't bother me as much as it used to. Her mouth opened, probably to launch another guilt trip, but I was done. I stepped back and shut the door in her face. The last thing I heard before she stormed off was her muttering, ungrateful little person. I locked the door, exhaled slowly, and for the first time in years, I felt something new. Relief. I was free. 3 days passed, and I ignored every call, every text, every desperate voicemail. The first messages were angry, full of accusations. Then came the guilt trips. By the second day, Mom switched to pleading. Sweetheart, we need to talk. Please, just call me. But by the third day, her tone had changed. Fine. If you want to act like this, then don't bother coming by on Sunday. You've made your choice. That was supposed to hurt me. It didn't. I had already made up my mind. I wasn't their bank anymore. Sunday came, and I spent my afternoon doing something I hadn't done in years. Absolutely nothing. No rushing to cover a bill. No working overtime just to keep the house I didn't even live in running. For once, I just existed for myself. Then, around 6 p.m., my phone buzzed with a message from my cousin, Vanessa. Are you seriously not coming to dinner? You might want to rethink that. I frowned. Why? I texted back. She sent a screenshot. It was a photo from Rachel's Instagram story. There they all were, Mom, Dad, Rachel, my aunts, uncles, cousins, sitting around the dinner table. My dinner table. The one I bought for them last Christmas because the old one was falling apart. Rachel had captioned the picture. Family means everything. Well, almost everyone. And then, underneath in the comments, someone had written, "Wait, where's Jake?" Rachel had responded, "Oh, he finally decided to grow up and stop whining about money. Guess he doesn't care about family anymore." Something inside me snapped. I grabbed my keys and walked out the door. The Last Supper. I didn't knock when I got to my parents' house. I just walked in. The laughter at the dinner table died the moment they saw me standing in the doorway. Rachel's eyes widened, but then she smirked. "Oh, look who decided to show up. Changed your mind already." I ignored her and looked straight at my mother. "I just have one question," I said, my voice eerily calm. "What?" She blinked. "Why what, honey? Why did you stop paying your own bills? Why did you make me responsible for everything? Was it just easier? Or did you really think I was too stupid to realize what was happening?" She sighed dramatically. "Oh, for heaven's sake. Is that what this is about? You're throwing a tantrum over money? I told you, we just needed a little help." "A little help?" I cut her off, stepping forward. "I have worked myself into the ground for you. 2 jobs, no vacations, barely enough to keep my own lights on, because I was too busy keeping this house running." I gestured around. "Meanwhile, you sit here, drinking, laughing, mocking me." I turned to Rachel. "And you? You had the nerve to post that video, to make a joke out of me?" Rachel rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, you're so dramatic. It's not that deep." "Not that deep." I barked a bitter laugh. "Then why did you delete it?" Her smirk faltered. "Yeah, that's right," I said. "I saw it before you took it down." "What? Didn't get the reaction you wanted? People in the comments actually called you out." She shifted uncomfortably, but didn't respond. I turned back to my mother. "You told me I was family, that we help each other. But that was a lie, wasn't it?" I let out a breath. "Family isn't about helping. It's about control. You didn't want help. You wanted me to be dependent, to work myself sick while you sat back and watched." "That is not true," my mother snapped, standing up. "Isn't it?" I said, pulling a folded piece of paper from my jacket. I tossed it onto the table. My dad picked it up, frowning. "What's this?" he muttered. Rachel leaned over to read it, and her face went pale. I already knew what it said. It was a copy of their will. They had left everything to Rachel. Not just the house. Everything. Their savings, their car, even their retirement accounts. I wasn't even mentioned. The silence was suffocating. Finally, my mother spoke, her voice quiet. "Where did you get this?" "Doesn't matter," I said. "What matters is that I know." Dad had the decency to look guilty. Mom, on the other hand, didn't even blink. "Oh, stop acting so shocked," she scoffed. "You weren't exactly going to do anything with it. You barely have a real career. Rachel knows how to handle money." I laughed, shaking my head. "Handle money? She blows through cash like it's Monopoly money. Meanwhile, I'm the one who kept this house from falling apart. And you still left me with nothing." I turned to my sister. "Was this your idea?" I asked. Rachel crossed her arms. "Why do you care? It's not like you ever planned to be part of this family. You just work, work, work. It's pathetic. You have no life. No girlfriend, no social life. Just a sad little apartment and 2 dead-end jobs." I exhaled slowly, gripping the back of a chair to keep myself steady. "And yet, without me, you'd all be drowning in debt." I looked around the table. "But you're right. I don't have a life. Because I wasted it on you." My mother shook her head, exasperated. "All right, that's enough. You're upset. We get it, but you'll get over it. Now sit down and eat before you say something you'll regret." I stared at her. Then I turned and picked up the plate in front of me. And I threw it. It shattered against the wall, food splattering everywhere. Gasps rang out. Rachel jumped up. My dad slammed his hands on the table. My mother looked furious. "What is wrong with you?" she screeched. I smiled. Nothing, I said. For the first time in my life, nothing at all. Then I turned and walked out the door. I didn't look back. I drove home in complete silence, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My ears still rang from the shouting, my pulse pounding from the rage that still burned in my chest. But underneath all of it, beneath the betrayal, the exhaustion, the years of being treated like nothing more than a walking wallet, there was something else. Relief. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. No more late-night calls demanding money. No more sacrificing my own needs just to keep their house running. No more being a fool for people who never gave about me. I was free. But my family? They were about to lose their minds. I knew it was coming. The moment I walked out of that house, they'd be scrambling. I had dared to break the cycle. They weren't going to let that go easily. Sure enough, the first call came before I even pulled into my driveway. Mom. I let it ring. Then Rachel. Decline. Then Dad. Blocked. I wasn't playing their game anymore. The next morning, I woke up to over 20 missed calls and even more unread messages. Rachel, you are seriously being dramatic. Rachel, fine, don't come crawling back when you realize you need us. Rachel, oh wait, you won't. Because you'll die broke and alone. Mom, I hope you're happy. Your father is devastated. I don't even recognize you anymore. Mom, how can you do this to your own family? Dad, we need to talk. Now. It was almost laughable. They weren't sorry. They weren't apologizing. They were just angry that they lost their free money. And when I didn't respond, that's when they got desperate. First, the guilt trips. We raised you, and this is how you repay us? Then, the gaslighting. You're overreacting. Families joke around. Stop making it into something it's not. Then, the threats. You better fix this before you regret it. I ignored all of it. By the end of the week, the messages slowed. But they weren't done yet. The real consequences. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my cousin, Vanessa, the only sane one in the family. Hey, you got a minute? She asked. Her voice was tense. What's going on? I said. She sighed. Your parents' electricity got shut off yesterday. I blinked. Excuse me. Yeah. And the internet. And their credit cards are maxed out. They're losing it. Rachel had a full-on meltdown at dinner last night. I leaned back in my chair, letting that sink in. I knew they were bad with money. I just didn't realize it was this bad. Let me guess, I said. They're blaming me? Of course they are, Vanessa muttered. Rachel's telling everyone that you're punishing them over a stupid joke. Your mom's been crying to everyone about how you abandoned them. They're playing the victim's hard. I laughed. So, what do they want? For me to come running back and fix it? Well, yeah, Vanessa admitted. They were banking on you caving. They figured you'd get scared, feel guilty, and come back to make things right. But now that you're not, they don't know what to do. I exhaled slowly. Good. So what happens now? I asked. Vanessa hesitated. I think they're going to ask someone else for help. Maybe my parents. But they're not stupid. They know what Rachel and your mom are like. They're not just going to throw money at them. I shrugged. Then I guess they'll have to figure it out. There was a pause. Then Vanessa said something that caught me off guard. You did the right thing, you know. I swallowed. Doesn't feel like it. That's because you're a good person, she said. But they're not. And they don't deserve you. For the first time in a long time, I actually believed it. The final goodbye. It took a month for them to finally stop trying to break me. By then, Rachel had found a way to weasel money out of someone else, probably one of her clueless friends, and my parents had downsized their lifestyle to something more manageable. Not once did I hear a real apology. Not once did they admit they were wrong. And that was fine. Because I was done. One night, I sat down and wrote a message. One final text. Mom, Dad, Rachel, I spent years giving you everything I had, and all you did was take. You laughed at me, called me pathetic, and treated me like an ATM. I don't owe you anything anymore. This is the last time you'll hear from me. Don't call, don't text. You made your choice. Now live with it. And then? I blocked their numbers. Permanently. I stared at my phone for a long time after that, waiting for some kind of regret to hit me. Some part of me to whisper, what if you're wrong? But there was nothing. Just peace. For the first time in years, I was finally, truly free. Final update. 6 months passed. 6 months of absolute silence. No texts. No calls. No guilt trips, no demands, no fake apologies. At first, I expected the absence to feel wrong. Like something was missing. But the truth? It felt like a weight had been ripped off my chest. I didn't wake up every morning dreading a new demand. I didn't work myself to exhaustion for people who didn't care. I didn't feel used. I had spent years bleeding for my family, breaking myself in half just to keep them comfortable. And what did I get for it? Mockery. Disrespect. Nothing. So, I stopped. And without me, they crumbled. What happened to them? I found out through Vanessa. She and I still talk sometimes, and she was the only one willing to tell me the truth. Rachel? She burned through every cent she got from my parents. Apparently, her influencer career wasn't as lucrative as she pretended it was, and without my money covering her overspending, things spiraled fast. She actually tried asking Grandma for money, Vanessa told me once, laughing. Grandma laughed in her face and told her to get a real job. Mom and Dad? They were forced to downsize. No more expensive cable packages. No more fancy dinners. No more pretending they were middle class when they were living off credit and my generosity. And when the reality hit them, they tried to guilt-trip Vanessa's parents into helping, but her dad, my uncle, was smarter than that. Your mom actually had the audacity to tell my dad it was his duty to help her, Vanessa said, shaking her head. He told her she should have thought about that before she burned the only bridge she had. I didn't feel bad. Not even a little. They did this to themselves. What happened to me? I got my life back. I quit one of my jobs. I found a new apartment, a place that actually felt like mine. I started saving money for myself instead of throwing it into a bottomless pit. I even took a vacation for the first time in years. Nothing crazy, just a few days in a quiet town by the lake. But the best part? I stopped feeling like a fool. Because I finally understood the truth. Family isn't about blood. It's about respect. And the moment someone shows you that they don't respect you, you owe them nothing. They made their choice. And I made mine. I never looked back.